Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and we are back with another fun show. So if you didn't see the title, I'll give you a little hint. If you have a pair of jeans laying around, you want to add a little embroidery to it, this is going to be the perfect show for you. This is so much fun. I did this for my nieces. I do it for myself. I love embellishing jeans. We got Laura Pifer here. This is going to be so exciting. So pop in, say hi. We are streaming on Brother Sewing and Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages, and we are live in the chat today. All right, Laura, come on up and join the party. I'm so excited for this tutorial.
Oh, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. And you know, when I saw this was the title, I thought this is going to be so great because it's such an easy way to embellish and it's so trendy right now.
Yes, and I think also you're a pro probably at this, so we should have you do it next time because I know you know how to do all the little tricks. Mine are a little bit more simple because embroidering jeans, it can be tricky. There's lots of seams and lots of fabric in the way. So I hope these little tips that I share with you can help you start. And then maybe Angela gives us a intermediate experience class.
I think it's going to be awesome. I cannot wait to see what you do with this.
Awesome. Well, here's a little sample. It's super cute. I hope you can see it right. There we go. It's a cute little...
Wait. I see a trend here. Are those blue flowers?
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh. Laura, you have started a trend across the whole country. The blue is the color of the year, and you have got that nailed. And it looks so good on you, too.
Oh, thank you. You don't want to see my curtains. My curtains are the blue floral. I don't know. You know what? My mom, she loved them. And so now it's just like in me. I don't know, this time of year, I'm always drawn to like the blue floral details. They're cute for Easter dress material and really whatever. But yeah, you're right. There it is.
I love it. It's so classy though. So classy.
It's pretty. What is it? Like that, like China fabric. It's kind of like that kind of detail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to do this. We'll definitely go over to my table so I can show you right there. And then we'll show you how I hooped it and then how I sent the design directly to my SC2000, which is what we're using today. This is a sewing and embroidery unit. And it has many built-in designs, but also it connects to the Artspira app, which has even more. I mean, the options are endless on Artspira, and you send it directly to your machine. So I'll show you guys that as well. But for now, we can head over to the table and see how we hoop this.
All right, that sounds good. All right, so I'll bring up her table as soon as I see her over there. Drop your questions in the chat. Have you ever tried embellishing jeans? Because sometimes people get nervous. So you've got that thick seam on the inside. There are so many tricks to the trade. And I know Laura is going to show you some of these. So I see her at her table. I'll bring her up here. Laura, we can see you great.
Good. All right, so I'm going to show you guys just a couple of options that I did. This one, I'm going to show you what we'll do. So this is my 4x4-inch hoop. And the SC2000 does have a 5x7-inch hoop area, but that would probably work maybe down here on the bottom hem if you have a wide pant. For something like this, you would definitely want a smaller hoop. So I'm just using my 4x4-inch hoop. I also, for this one, I am using this medium weight fusible cutaway stabilizer. That way, because it will keep when you wash it often, it'll keep the design nice, but also you can just press it on and keep it right there without having to worry about it shifting. So when you think about embroidery, at least for something like the SC2000, you definitely want to think about locations where you can do it, because you do have, it's not just free right there. You have to make sure the fabric isn't in the way. So I like to think of ideas like maybe closer to the waistline, for example, or another good place would be like the bottom hem, right? And just ways that you can still hoop it. I know people also will actually seam rip the side seams right here, and then or like for example right here, and then they just tuck it in. So the you would have to sew that up. Now, when you do something like that, you would definitely want to do it on this side seam versus the one with the stitching right here, for example, just because it would be easier to sew up. So think about that in mind. For this one, I was able to actually just use my hoop. There's a stabilizer right in here, okay? And then I was able to actually just have this hanging out right here with the zipper. But you could also do it this way if you wanted, right? Like that, but you'd want to obviously rotate your design, okay? So thinking about all those little details does matter. So I'm just going to show you how I hoop this one. Here's my 4x4" hoop. Just make sure that this is kind of open because this is thick. And then I'm tucking it in. So, oh, really quick too. I want my design right here. Okay. So I sometimes will use tape. Think about the design and like where it's going to be. If you wanted to do it on the pocket, that might be really hard because there's a lot of material right here, right? So I'm just going to do it kind of like what I did here, maybe right here in the corner. Okay, my design is going to be about 3 by 3 inches. You'll want to make sure this pocket right here is out of the way when you are embroidering. And that's again why I use this fusible. So I was able to press it on and then I don't have to worry about this moving as well. So there's all these different parts. So, and then you'll just get this over as far as possible. Thinking about right this, you don't want that in the hoop. That would be very hard to hoop. Thinking about little metal details you definitely don't want near the hoop. All right, so then another layers, making sure they're out. Okay. Look good? All right, and then I just hoop that. Okay, so that's nice and hooped in there. All right. Another option, and I can show you over by the sewing machine as well, but we can go over and get ready to do this, and I'll show you how I transfer my, actually, I'll do that right here right now because we're already here, but another option for embroidery is if you don't want to do all these embroideries on here, you could always take your little samples, and I thought this was a good idea, and then you make them like little patches. So here I embroidered this on some fabric, this little like light shabby chic fabric. And then you kind of piece them all together like this. And then you could actually make them like little patches. You know what I mean? And you can either do a press on right here, or you could hand stitch this on. These would be cute on the knees as well. You know, what do you think, Angela? Is that cute?
I love that. That's a great idea.
Right. And even on the back pocket, for example, like you can do some fun stuff without having to actually do it directly on the denim. So that was another option I thought of if we weren't able to do all these fun designs on the pants.
And the other thing, Laura, that does is that if somebody is really nervous about embroidering directly on jeans, especially if they're an expensive pair or if they fit great and you don't want I mean, some people get nervous. It's a great way to be able to embroider, make sure it looks good, and then attach it.
Agreed. That's a great plan. So think about that. If you're not sure you want to do all this, this is an easier way to do it. And like you said, you can always unstitch it if it doesn't look the way you want. All right, so we are ready to go over to my embroidery machine. So I'll bring you all over there and I'll show you how I transfer my design to the Artspira app.
All right, that sounds good. I'll take you out while she moves on over to the machine and drop your questions. We're live in the chat today. So have you ever tried this? There's a tutorial that I actually did on Artspira a while ago doing embroidery on jeans. Exactly what Laura had said, where you open the side seams, the outside leg seams, because it's really not that difficult. But those inside ones, I wouldn't touch those with a 10-foot pole. I don't know about you, Laura, but it's like, number one, I don't want to rip them. And number two, trying to match that thread again to be able to get that beautiful top stitching is so challenging.
That's what I was thinking. So that's why I'm with you on that one. I was like, where can I do it where I'm not messing with any of the stitches? So this seems to be the location right here, or even like down on the hem is pretty easy. So you're not cutting stuff. So I'm going to hoop this now. I mean, put it on my machine. So we want this right here. Let me actually tighten this a little bit. we want everything out of the way. So that's why I like this area, because the zipper and the waistline, you're not getting all this stuff in the machine. So I'm just going to fold it all around. I might have to stand up right here. You know, jeans are heavy duty.
Yeah.
And I'll bring y'all up close too. So this is ready to go. I will change my thread as well. And now what I'll do, I'll bring you up close real quick. All right, so you can see everything is out of the way. Okay, so this is just the hoop. And you want all the denim out of the way. So be mindful of that. And I'm going to transfer my design. I think I'm going to do that cute little daisy that we were, this one.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it's a quick 5-minute design. I think we can all stand here and watch that go down. So there's 4 colors. So what I'll do is I just say create. So it's saved also in my Artspira app. So you can save your designs that you like. And then I just say create. And then if you want, you can change the side, you can mirror it. You can change the size, you can mirror it. If you wanted to flop it, you know, the other way, or rotate it. You can also add designs if you wanted down here. I'm just going to do this simple one, but then what you'll do is you just press done, or you can save it if you want. And then you just transfer it right here directly to your machine. And it says data transferred. Okay, so then I go to this right here. And then you go to the little cloud. There it is. Set it up. So I'm going to change my hoop to 4x4. And you can change the size, like I said, if you want to make it a little bigger or smaller. And then I'm going to put it up in the corner where we were, like more over here. So I'm going to move that. And then what I like about the touch screen as well is, let me make sure that, can you guys see the touch screen, Angela? Or is that light in the way?
If you put your hand right there, we can kind of see it. I'll have you bring it just a wee bit closer. I'll let you know when you get there. So everyone's not like, I can't see it.
Is that better?
Let's see. Yes, that's better.
Okay, so what I really love about like just the touch screen of Brother is that it's machines. This is so easy. So I can take, for example, this and see exactly where I want it to be. So right here, right? It's the corner where I want this design, where I had the tape right here. And you can also see where it will end, all the different locations and the center, for example. So you're not going to run into any issues as far as location. So that's one thing I really love about the Brother touchscreen machines, especially on the SE2000. So this is ready to embroider. So we'll go to embroider. I'm going to actually pull you out now so you guys can see me thread and everything. But I'm going to thread the machine with green.
Yeah, we can see the machine great now. It's so clear.
Oh, good. I'm kind of hooping this, or threading this like sideways. So I hope it works out. Okay. It shows how easy these are to hoop. Okay. Or thread. Okay. So now we are ready to embroider. I'm just going to press start and make sure all this is out of the way. Okay. Again, make sure we're not getting anything in there. Okay. Because we don't want that. All right. It's good to go. All right, I'll pull you out so we can chat a little while this goes on.
Sounds good. So, I would love to know in the comments as you're doing that, how many people have actually tried Artspira, because the last live show you did was a great tutorial, just taking a photo or a graphic and turning it into embroidery. It was so simple to do.
Yeah. For Artspira, I feel like it's such a great tool. Not only can you hear me well too, or is that a little?
Yeah. No,
okay.
we can hear you. And actually, the machine's quite quiet, so no worries about that.
I picked a 5-minute design. So, but yeah, what I love about Artspira is I feel like, especially for people that are, using their phones and stuff like that, it's so tech savvy. Like you can just send everything directly to your machine. Like you're not doing the USB anymore. You could also edit everything on the actual app. So adding, like say you wanted to add lettering with a curve, for example, and then have floral design below, like we showed you. And then the book, for example, all that I can connect in one area, right? So you're not just sending it all over and editing everything on the touch screen, which is fine too. All of it, whatever works for you. I guess I just been using it so much that now I don't know any different. You know what I mean?
It's so simple and user friendly. I think that's the part. And leave a comment in the chat. Have you tried Artspira? What's your favorite feature on there? Because every time I open it, there's a new feature that's been dropped in there.
Right. And they have the cutest designs.
Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
I feel like I can just say anything, like just pick anything and it will pull up. Like it's crazy. All right, so now we're doing the little Oh, let me make sure. Oh, there's good. Like I said, I'm threading this way.
Over the camera, under the camera.
Yeah.
So while we're chatting about these jeans, since we're live in the chat today, probably give a little tip. If you're going to do this on a real thick pair of jeans, instead of using an embroidery needle, if you have any skip stitches, I should say, you might want to use a denim number 14 needle. That's a little bit stronger needle and it penetrates the fabric. But one pair of jeans that I did, Laura, I don't know if you ever tried this. I want it to be kind of a matte finish for the embroidery, and I used regular sewing thread, and it turned out gorgeous.
Wow, I never even thought about that. It was probably a lot, like, had more weight to it too, right? The design,
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And the thread just looked, it just looked very matte, but very trendy. It was, so if you don't have embroidery thread laying around, or you don't have the right color, or you want to have a whole different texture, keep that in mind too.
That is a good idea. And I think the design would be more dramatic. You know what I mean? Because there's a little bit, isn't it? Normal thread has a little bit more weight to it, where like embroidery thread can be a little thinner,
Thinner, yeah. And shinier quite often.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Also too, you made a good point with the needle. I actually have a jeans needle in here right now, even for my embroidery unit, because we are, like you said, embroidering on a heavyweight material.
Right.
So definitely keep that in mind, because it is a thicker material. You don't want, it's easier that way for sure.
Yeah. I have one more tip and I don't know if you've ever tried this. Well, I didn't really do it for myself, but when I was embroidering jeans for my nieces, they didn't like the rough texture touching their skin. So I took a piece of fusible interfacing that you use for garments, just a lightweight fusible, and pressed it to the backside after it was finished embroidering, after you tear away the stabilizer and all that, and put that on there and pressed it. And they loved it because it was a nice soft finish. So if you have sensitive skin and you're thinking, I don't want this rubbing on my skin, the back of the stitches, that's one little idea.
That's a great idea, because you're right. It can be rough, especially if they have sensitive skin.
Yeah.
So was it a stabilizer, or was it just like a softer material, you said?
It was a fusible interfacing that you use for garments, like inside of a collar or inside of, that's used on garments. It was just that. And it fuses right to the fabric. It's stuck on just fine. I think I actually might have added a few just free motion stitches around it just to keep it, to make sure that through all the washings it didn't fall off, but they loved it. They thought it was great.
That's a great idea. Like, I'll definitely keep that in mind, even for sweatshirts. You know how it's all itchy and stuff? You always have to wear an undershirt.
Yeah. And if you're doing something, if you can just do a couple hand stitches or a couple free motion stitches and make it look like it's part of the design, it'll keep that fusible through all the washings. A lot of times you press it on so well anyways, it's not going to come off. Now I'm
Right.
talking garment fusible interfacing, not embroidery interfacing.
Very
Two different, totally different things.
good. I'll definitely add that for sure. Probably to the back of these.
Yeah, because that'll be hitting your thighs.
I know, ow. This is almost done. I just have 2 more. Let me grab my gold thread real quick.
All right, again, we're live in the chat, so drop your comments. Even if you're watching the replay, you can ask questions there. We always try to answer those for you. And if do you have any questions on this? So, and no, she didn't rip any seams on this one. So super simple. She just found a great spot on the jeans to put this. Perfect.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to do any of that. I did on the back pocket, and I can show you a little bit of that. But again, like you said, then you got to match, you know, this stitching with the jeans. But just some simple ways to kind of embellish. Like I said, you could also do the little patches where you're embroidering on actual fabric and then just stitching it directly onto. So we got 2 minutes left. That's
not bad.
No.
So Laura, do you have any tips that we could share? Or if not, I'll share too. But for doing top stitching on jeans, when you are trying to match the thread, you know, they have the denim thread, they have the top stitching thread, but they're in very limited colors. So if you're trying to match, you know, when I used to do alterations for customers many, many years ago, I swore the jean companies did this on purpose. They would come out with a new color of top stitching thread. So if I was trying to hem jeans or alter jeans, I never had that color. Every year would be a new color. So I did come up with a trick. But what is your, do you ever have to match top stitching thread for any reason, or what's your favorite way to sew jeans?
Well, I don't do it as much. And definitely, like you said, that's kind of crazy that they probably were doing that.
They probably had my picture up there because they knew I would get so angry.
Oh, that's crazy. You know what I do if I am trying to talk to people? I basically just have the go-tos, right? You have that gold, the gold thread for denim. You know what I mean? The top stitch for, and then I think there's like a lighter one, like a lighter gold, which is actually on this one. You can see it on this one. I just have the standards, and if those are a little bit off, oh well for me. But I just, if it was like a business, like you were saying, yeah, you kind of want that to match.
You do, and I found the best trick. So you're gonna love this, Laura, because your machine has this stitch too. So I would buy regular thread, just regular sewing thread, and I would use the triple stitch that goes back and forth. They call it a stretch stitch, but I use it for top stitching, and made the stitch length a little bit longer, like a 3.5 or 4. And use that, and it looked just, so all I would have to do is match any standard thread to the top stitching thread. And when it goes back and forth 3 times, it looks like top stitching thread.
That is a great idea. And that's on these machines?
Yeah.
Okay, which number is it? Mark that down. What is it?
I have my 2000 out. I do. I'll be right back. You embroider, and I'll go tell you what number it is.
Okay, that would be very cool to know. I'm going to write that down.
All right, so I'm letting you take over while I go look at my machine.
Okay. All right, so we have one more. Thanks for sticking with us. I picked some shorter designs so you guys aren't sitting here for 40 minutes like some of them. All right, so we got the last one right here. This one's a minute. That's really cool that Angela shared that tip, because I would have no idea. Not only that, I feel like you can make a thicker top stitch if you use that, even if it wasn't for denim. So that's really good to know. So this is embroidering really nice. I can bring y'all up real quick.
All right, I found it for you.
Woo! That's so cool.
I just happen to have the SE2000 here because I use, you know, you're going to think I'm crazy, but I love embroidering on the go, and I love sewing on the go. And usually somebody on our boat needs something fixed. So I just took it out because I'm taking it to the boat.
Wow.
I know. So it's number 5. number 5 on there.
Oh my goodness. I can see it. So it has that makes sense. I thought it was like a stitch that would go because it says the 3.
Right. Nope. It goes back and forth. And I think it's automatically set to start in the left position. So I'll use the left right shift to move it to the center. I'm just used to sewing right in the center.
Okay.
So you can move it to where you want it to stitch, and then you can also change the stitch length.
That is so cool. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I was telling when you left, I was saying, even if you don't do denim or whatever, it's nice for a little more dramatic stitch. You know what I mean? Like if you're doing a top stitch, you get a little bit like thicker top stitch. So that's so good to know.
And that's what I've used for top stitching now on just about any garment that I have. It just looks so beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, look.
Oh, I'm going to practice that when you're done. Look how cute.
Oh, that looks so good. Do you know how much you would pay for a pair of jeans like that to have that on there? A lot.
I know people don't understand. Like, I know there's some of those companies that will do the little embroidery, like addition in their stores and stuff. They have the little embroidery units. And I'm like, wow, I'm pretty sure that you're going to have to pay a lot for all that to be done.
That looks so cute.
Let's check these in. You got this cute little spring denim.
I love that.
And then I was going to show you, we showed you how to do little patches. Those would be cute to add to maybe the knee, for example. And then I was going to show you really briefly, I did this, and I know it's the same design, but I did this one because it was pretty quick. You know what I mean? But for the back pocket, if you did want to do, and now Angela shared that awesome tip with us, but if you did want to do like a back pocket, for example, you would seam rip open, right? The area right here, and then you embroider it. So I would use like a sticky adhesive, you know what I mean? Like stabilizer. So you just kind of hoop that and then plaster that right on. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Look at how cute that is on the pockets. So that's actually what we're just talking about. That's where you would want to use that triple stitch, and you can match that thread up and stitch and get that finished. It will look great.
Yeah. And now that I know that, we can show you how to do that right now. Just kidding. Hold on, guys. I'm going to take everything. I will say this is pretty quick to change from the embroidery. You just pull this off, and then you change the foot, and that's it. But now that I know Angela shared that, that's right when we are done with this. I'm going to go hit number 5. Wait, no, 5. Yeah, 5. And I'm going to stitch that right up. And I definitely have, like you said, some thread that matches that.
That looks so good. Do you have any scraps of fabric?
I do.
Oh.
You mean
we should ask the fans, do you want to see that stitch on a scrap of her fabric? We should see it.
Oh, yeah, let me get it.
Do you have, well, it depends. Do you have your sewing foot around? Because if not, I just totally put you on the spot.
Yeah, I would have to change everything. I would, though, otherwise. But I do have, I thought you meant the actual design, too. That was the design, but.
Oh, wait, let me see.
That was the cute design. I like to do samples first. And what was funny was I was doing the samples for which, design I wanted to do on the jeans for this live. And then I ended up doing the little patches because I'm like, actually, that would be cute where you can just get some fabric and stitch that right on. And then like we were saying also too, Angela, if it didn't work out, you just cover that up. Yeah, I'm going to use that one no more. So I actually was like, if something does happen, we got to cover up.
I agree.
But maybe next time we do the stitch, I'll definitely practice that when we're done, because I would like to stitch up the back jeans anyways.
This is going to be so much fun. So I would love to know in the comments, are you going to try this? And what design are you going to pick from Artspira? Of course, you have a ton of designs built into your machine as well. And there is a tutorial. Let me see if I can find it. If you go into Artspira, you know what? This is not the phone I have Artspira on. It's on my other phone, which is in my car.
I have the Artspira app up. Do you want me to look for it?
Yeah, there's a bunch of projects in there, and there's one on jeans. I did it for my nieces, where I opened the side leg, and I don't know if you can search for that jeans.
Is it what volume is it?
You know, I don't know. It's under projects.
Okay, let me look up.
Embroidered jeans. It's, well, for everybody looking, see if you can find that one. It was one of the original projects when Artspira came out, and I have to tell you, my nieces love those jeans. Now they've gotten a little bit older, they want new jeans. So it's very similar to what Laura showed, but I love those flowers that you had on there. I chose a longer, it was more of a, I think it was a longer design. It was in this 5x7 hoop though, and I used the SE2000 on it.
Oh, I need to look that one up because I was kind of nervous to use the bigger hoop area, you know. So that's good because, and you're right, there's so many weekly inspos and projects on the Artspira app. I'm looking up embroidered jeans right now.
And also, I love the way that you were able to finagle your hoop to get underneath that pocket. With the little girls' jeans, there wasn't that much room, and I wanted to use a larger design, so I had to do what you were talking about, open that outside seam. But you just have to make sure that you're careful when you open that up, that you don't get too close to the top stitching or you can't close it.
Good to know. I'm so glad I found this. So is this it, Angela?
Let me bring you up on yourself. That's it. That embroidered jeans.
You know what I love? You just press heart so you can save that in all of your stuff.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm going to have to do another pair now. And I love your idea about doing the pockets in the back. So we might have to do a jean comparison when we come back because you just got me in the mood to do some more, Laura.
These are going to be like, you know, like the gardener jeans or something. It's like a pair of garden floral pants.
I love that. I love that. All right, everyone. Don't forget to use hashtag BrotherSews when you watch this. I'll bring this up. And follow Laura and I and Brother Sews on social media. We love to see what you're working on. And we're always posting a lot of fun photos too. So make sure you tag us. I can't wait to see your jeans. I can't wait.
I know. Tag us.
Laura, this has been a lot of fun. Until next time, I wish everyone happy sewing. Kind of like a happy almost summer, springtime. Kids are getting out of school. I can feel a lot of beach projects coming up. What do you think?
And you know me, I have a lot of those.
I love it. All right, Laura. Well, until next time, happy sewing, brother sewing and crafting. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye.